Monica gripped her phone tighter, trying to keep her voice steady. "Vanessa, she's your sister," she said. "Why would you not want her there?" On the other end, her daughter's tone was calm but sharp. "Mom, it's an adult-only event. Amara's too young to understand the vibe we're going for. It's supposed to be elegant, no kids running around." "She's 15, not 5, Monica shot back. "And she's not some random child. She's your family." There was a pause, followed by a sigh. "I've already told everyone, Mom. No exceptions. Please don't make this harder." Monica's heart pounded. She had been juggling 2 jobs, bills piling on her kitchen counter, and the constant ache in her lower back that wouldn't go away. But this felt different. It wasn't about money or exhaustion. This was her eldest daughter telling her that the younger one didn't belong. In the living room, the afternoon light spilled across the carpet. Amara was curled on the couch with a book, her knees pulled up. Monica had thought she was lost in her reading, but when she glanced up, she saw the way Amara's eyes had changed, glossy and distant. The girl closed her book quietly, stood up, and walked down the hallway without a word. "Vanessa," Monica said, her voice breaking, "do you even hear yourself? She's your sister." "I'm just trying to have the day I've dreamed of," Vanessa said. "Please respect that." The line went dead. Monica stayed there, phone in hand, staring at the empty hallway where Amara had disappeared. She could hear the faint creak of her bedroom door closing. She sank onto the couch, her chest tight, and whispered to the quiet room, "She's your sister, and you're acting like she doesn't exist." Monica had Vanessa when she was just 19. Back then, she thought love was enough to hold a marriage together. She didn't see the warning signs until it was too late. The late nights, the strange perfume on his shirts, the way he stopped looking at her the same way. When she found out he was cheating, the world she had built cracked apart. The divorce was messy, and Vanessa was only 6. Her father fought for custody, not because he wanted to be a full-time parent, but because it gave him control. In the end, they shared time, but Vanessa spent long stretches with his side of the family. That meant birthday parties Monica couldn't attend, school events she heard about secondhand, and quiet dinners at her own table where one chair stayed empty. Years later, Monica met Chaik. He was gentle, steady, and patient, the opposite of her first husband. They married, and when Monica had Amara, she promised herself this child would grow up in a home that felt whole. But raising 2 daughters from different marriages wasn't simple. Vanessa never quite fit into the rhythm of Monica's new family life. When she came over, she was polite, but there was a distance, like she was visiting, not coming home. Amara, who was much younger, adored her big sister anyway. She'd follow her around, ask her about school, copy the way she braided her hair. Vanessa would smile, answer a little, then drift back to her phone or her friends. To keep both daughters cared for, Monica worked hard. Too hard. She took on a second job, cleaning offices at night after her daytime shift at the hospital. She missed sleep, skipped outings with friends, and put her own dreams, studying nursing full-time, maybe traveling, on a shelf she never had time to dust. Now Vanessa was 23 and engaged to Travis, a man from a wealthy Nigerian-American family in Atlanta. His parents ran a successful real estate business, and they were paying for a wedding that looked like something out of a magazine, chandeliers, designer gowns, a guest list full of people who used networking as a verb. When Monica met Travis's parents, she could feel the quiet judgment in the way his mother's eyes swept over her clothes, her plain shoes, the calluses on her hands. She spoke softly, but with a tone that made Monica feel like she was being measured. Monica smiled anyway, reminding herself that this was Vanessa's life now. Amara was 15, quiet, and happiest with a book in her hands. She loved poetry, old novels, and the smell of the library. She didn't have many friends, but she didn't seem to mind. To her, Vanessa was larger than life, someone who had escaped their small apartment world and stepped into something shiny and exciting. Whenever Vanessa posted pictures of fancy dinners or beach trips, Amara would save them, like tiny windows into a life she wished she could be closer to. The wedding was supposed to be a rare moment when the whole family would be together again. Monica pictured her 2 daughters side by side, even if just for one night. She imagined the photos they could take, the way Amara's face might light up if Vanessa introduced her proudly to everyone. But now that picture had been ruined. Vanessa had made it clear, Amara wasn't invited. Not because of the guest list, not because of space, but because, as Vanessa said, she's too young for the kind of wedding I'm having. For Monica, it felt like more than a rule. It felt like her eldest was closing a door, not just on Amara, but on the fragile bridge that still connected their family. And if that door stayed closed, she wasn't sure it would ever open again. Monica waited until her lunch break to make the call. She didn't want Vanessa to feel ambushed, so she decided to speak with Travis directly. She stepped outside the hospital, the cold air hitting her face, and dialed his number. He picked up quickly, his voice smooth and polite. "Hi, Mrs. Adeyemi. Is everything okay?" Travis, she began, forcing a calm tone. I wanted to talk to you about Amara and the wedding. I know Vanessa feels strongly about this adult-only rule, but she's her sister. It would mean a lot if you could make an exception. There was a pause. Monica could hear faint chatter in the background, like he was at a cafe. I understand how you feel, Travis said. But Vanessa and I have talked about this a lot. We decided no exception. Not even for family. We want a very specific atmosphere, and we don't want to compromise. His words were gentle but final. Monica felt her jaw tighten. She's not a little girl who will run around making noise. She's 15. She'll sit quietly, she'll behave. I know she's a good kid, he interrupted. This isn't about her behavior. We just want things a certain way. I hope you can respect that. Monica swallowed the lump in her throat. Of course, she said, though her voice sounded far away to her own ears. When she hung up, she stood on the sidewalk for a long moment, staring at the traffic. If this wasn't about Amara's age, then what was it? A sick thought settled in her chest. Maybe Vanessa was embarrassed. Maybe her younger sister didn't fit the image she wanted to show her new family. A week later, they all gathered for a small family dinner at a local Nigerian restaurant. Chaik ordered jollof rice and suya for the table, and the warm smell of spices filled the air. Monica had almost convinced herself not to bring up the wedding, to just enjoy the evening. But halfway through the meal, Vanessa cleared her throat. I just wanted to make sure everyone knows, she said, smiling faintly. The wedding will be child-free. No one under 16, just so we're consistent. The words were aimed at the table, but Monica knew they were for her. Across the room, she caught Travis's mother watching. The woman's lips curled into the smallest smirk, the kind you almost miss if you're not paying attention. Monica's stomach churned. She tried to meet Vanessa's eyes, but her daughter looked down at her plate. Beside her, Amara put down her fork. It's okay, Mom, she said quietly, though the tremor in her voice betrayed her. I'll just stay home. The table fell silent for a moment. Monica forced herself to smile, to nod, but her heart felt heavy. She reached under the table and squeezed Amara's hand. Amara gave her a small, brave smile, the kind a child makes when they're pretending they're not. And in that moment, Monica knew this wasn't just about a wedding. It was about the space growing between her daughters, a space that might one day be too wide to cross. It was 2 days after the family dinner when Monica ran into Annie Fola at the grocery store. Fola wasn't really an aunt, just an old family friend who had known Monica since her first marriage. They stood by the plantain section, chatting about small things, when Fola leaned closer and lowered her voice. I don't know if I should even tell you this, she began, but I heard something at the bridal shower planning meeting. Vanessa's future mother-in-law, she said your Amara might feel out of place at the wedding. Monica frowned. Out of place? Why? Fola's face softened with pity. She said she's not polished enough for the kind of guests they're expecting. The words hit Monica like a slap. She thanked Fola, bought her groceries, and drove home in silence. The insult replayed in her mind over and over. Not polished enough? Amara was a gentle, bright, respectful child. What was there to polish? That evening, she called Vanessa. We need to talk, she said. Vanessa sounded impatient from the start. Mom, if this is about the wedding again, I heard what was said about Amara, that she's not polished enough. There was a pause. Who told you that? Does it matter? Is it true? Vanessa sighed. Mom, it's not like that. They just think she might feel awkward. She's not used to formal events. Monica's voice rose. Awkward? She's your sister, Vanessa. Not some stranger you plucked off the street. You're talking about her like she's a problem you need to hide. I'm not hiding her. You never understand the world I'm trying to be part of. I worked hard to get here, to build a certain image. You don't know what it's like. Oh, I don't know? Monica snapped. I worked 2 jobs so you could have the chance to chase all this. I gave up my dreams so you could live yours. And now you're telling me your family, our family, isn't good enough for you. Vanessa's tone sharpened. This isn't about good enough. This is about my wedding. And you're making it all about you. The call ended in heavy silence. Monica stared at her phone, her hands trembling. 2 days later, Monica was folding laundry in the living room when she heard Vanessa's voice from Amara's room. She froze. Amara was sitting on her bed on speakerphone. Monica couldn't hear the whole conversation, but then the words cut through clear as day. She'll embarrass me in front of Travis's family. It was Vanessa. Amara sat perfectly still, her eyes fixed on the floor. When the call ended, she got up, walked past Monica without saying a word, and shut herself in the bathroom. Monica felt something deep inside her crack. She wasn't just losing Vanessa to this polished, high-society world. She was losing Amara to quiet heartbreak. Over the next week, she noticed the changes. Amara started skipping after-school activities. She stopped going to the poetry club she loved. When her friends texted, she ignored them. One night, Monica walked into her room and saw her deleting photos from her social media accounts, one by one. What are you doing? Monica asked gently. Just clearing stuff out, Amara said without looking up. The girl who once read aloud poems to her in the kitchen now kept her books stacked neatly, unopened. Her shoulders slumped more. Her laughter, once easy, had gone quiet. Monica lay awake at night thinking about both of her daughters. Vanessa, climbing so high that she seemed to look down on where she came from. Amara, shrinking so small that Monica feared she might disappear into herself. The wedding was still weeks away, but Monica could feel something breaking that a single day in a fancy dress could never fix. And she didn't know if she had the strength or the right words to stop it. A week before the wedding, Monica woke up with her mind already made up. She had tried phone calls, she had tried keeping quiet, she had even tried hoping Vanessa would change her mind on her own. Nothing had worked. If her daughter was going to hear her, it had to be face to face. That afternoon, she took a bus to the fancy hotel where Vanessa's bridal shower was being held. The lobby smelled of fresh flowers and expensive perfume. She could already hear laughter and music coming from a ballroom on the second floor. When she walked in, the room turned to look at her. Bridesmaids in matching pastel dresses, women sipping champagne. Travis's family sitting at the long table with perfectly wrapped gifts stacked nearby. Vanessa was at the center, wearing a white satin dress, her hair done in loose curls. "Mom," she said, surprise and irritation mixing in her voice. Monica ignored the whispers. She stepped forward until she was standing right in front of her daughter. Her hands shook, but her voice was steady. "I won't stay long," she said. "I just need to say something, and I need you to hear it." The room went quiet. Monica looked directly at Vanessa. "When you were little, I worked 2 jobs so you could have new shoes for school. I walked to work in the rain so I could save bus fare for your piano lessons. I missed sleep, missed birthdays, missed pieces of my own life, so you could have yours. And I would do it all again, Vanessa. Every last bit." She swallowed hard. "But now you're about to get married, and you're telling your sister she's not welcome. She has looked up to you her whole life. Do you know what that does to her? Do you know what that does to me?" She glanced at Travis's mother, whose polite smile didn't reach her eyes. "Family isn't a decoration you hide when it doesn't match the furniture. It's not something you edit out to make a picture look better. It's who you are. Without it, all the polished floors and fancy dresses in the world mean nothing." There was a stir at the back of the room. Monica turned and froze. Amara was standing in the doorway. She was wearing a simple navy blue dress, one Monica had never seen before, with her hair pulled back neatly. Her hands were clasped in front of her, and her eyes were nervous but steady. "I just wanted to see you happy," Amara said softly. The sound of her voice seemed to cut right through the air. Vanessa's lips trembled. She looked at her sister, then at her mother, and suddenly her face crumpled. "I didn't know what to do," Vanessa said, tears spilling over. "I thought if I didn't follow their rules, if I didn't make it perfect in their eyes, they would think less of me. I told myself it was just one day, but I didn't see what I was doing to you to her." Amara stepped closer. "You're my sister. I don't care about their rules. I just wanted to be there for you." Vanessa covered her mouth with her hand, her shoulders shaking. She reached for Amara, pulling her into a hug so tight it looked like she was afraid to let go. Monica stood there, her heart aching but also lighter than it had felt in weeks. Around them, no one spoke. Even Travis's mother looked away. It wasn't the perfect moment Vanessa's in-laws had imagined, but for the first time in a long time, Monica felt like maybe her daughters could still find their way back to each other. 2 days after the bridal shower, Vanessa came to the apartment alone. She didn't knock hard, just a soft tap on the door. When Monica opened it, she looked different. No makeup, hair tied back, eyes tired but gentle. She stepped inside and saw Amara on the couch. "Can I talk to both of you?" she asked. They sat together, the air quiet except for the sound of the fridge humming. Vanessa turned to Amara first. "I'm sorry," she said. "I should never have made you feel unwanted. You didn't do anything wrong. I let other people's opinions get in my head, and I hurt you because of it." Amara's eyes watered, but she nodded. "I just wanted to be there for you," she whispered. Vanessa reached over and took her hand. Then she looked at Monica. "And I'm sorry to you too, Mom. I know how much you've done for me, and I acted like it didn't matter. It matters. It matters more than I've ever said." They hugged, all 3 of them, but when they pulled apart, Vanessa sighed. "The seating chart and the guest list are locked. The venue won't let me change it without huge fees, and we're already over budget. I can't fix that part." Monica nodded slowly. "I understand." But in her heart, she decided something. She wouldn't go to the reception. She'd attend the ceremony for Vanessa's sake, but the rest she would spend with Amara. The wedding day came. Monica sat proudly through the ceremony, watching Vanessa in her gown, radiant and smiling. But when the guests moved toward the reception hall, Monica and Amara slipped away. At home, they set the small dining table with the good plates. They made fried rice, grilled chicken, and a chocolate cake from the bakery down the street. Music played from Amara's phone. They laughed, danced a little in the kitchen, and took silly selfies. Halfway through dessert, there was a knock. Monica opened the door, And there was Vanessa, still in her wedding dress, breathless from rushing. "I told them I needed some air," she said with a grin. "They think I'm in the garden taking photos." She kicked off her heels and joined them at the table, tucking her dress under the chair. They passed her a plate and cut her a slice of cake. For the first time in years, the three of them ate together without any walls between them. They talked about childhood memories, about what kind of women they wanted to be, and about how easy it was to lose sight of the people who matter most. When Vanessa finally stood to leave, she hugged them both again, holding on for longer than usual. "This," she said softly, "is the part of the day I'll remember most." Later that night, after Vanessa had gone back to the reception, Amara sat on her bed with her diary open. The small table lamp cast a warm glow across the page. She took a Polaroid from her pocket, the one they had taken at dinner, all three of them leaning in close, frosting on their lips, eyes crinkled from laughing. She placed the photo carefully on the blank page and wrote underneath in neat handwriting, "Family isn't about the guest list. It's about who shows up when it matters." In the living room, Monica was clearing plates, but her thoughts were far away. She remembered the looks from Travis's family, the cold rules, the unspoken judgment. She also remembered Amara's smile tonight, Vanessa's dress bunched up around her chair, the way they had laughed without caring who was watching. "We may never fit into their world," she thought, "but we'll never let their world tear ours apart." A soft giggle drifted from Amara's room. Monica peeked in and found her daughter scrolling through the night's photos, shaking her head at the silly ones. She sat beside her, and soon they were both laughing again. A little while later, Vanessa slipped quietly back into the apartment, her dress slightly wrinkled, her cheeks glowing. She kicked off her shoes and joined them on the bed, pulling the leftover cake box into her lap. The three of them sat there, passing forks back and forth, talking over each other, and laughing so much they barely finished the cake. For that moment, there were no seating charts, no in-laws, no rules. Just a mother and her daughters holding tight to what they still had. Hey besties! Thanks for sticking around till the end. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more heart-touching dramas. Next up, her friends invited everyone except her to their girls' trip, so she booked the seat right beside them. You won't want to miss it. See you in the next one.